Well,
Should
I'm
be.
gonna stop.
Should be. I'm recording right now, I think. So,
Oh,
um, all right. It didn't. Yeah, it says we're recording, so we'll start it off then.
mhm.
Definitely gonna delete all this. There's no way we release this to the public.
Oh, why not?
We got to keep this. We got to keep this.
We got to
Yeah, who
keep
gives a
this.
shit?
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at just
Trans.
pull back the
Yeah.
curtain.
Pull back the curtain. Transition into that.
Good Lord. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to History with Hersafat. I'm your host, Chris, aka Hersafat. Today I'll be speaking with a couple of friends, Brad and Nick, about trends in society. The views shared on this podcast come from ordinary, everyday people. My hope is that it'll give a unique perspective on history. So how is everyone this afternoon? How you guys doing? How was your week?
It was good. It went by really quickly.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah? Well, that's good.
How
That's good.
how was my week? The week just started. It's
Well,
Monday.
how was last week? Yeah, let's
Oh.
go with that. Yeah,
Last week was a week.
that's true.
Mhm.
That's true.
I mean, I was gonna
Um,
say. I mean, a week for me typically is just like what days I work and then what days I'm off. Doesn't matter what days they land on. That's the end of my week. That's like my weekend.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, um, my week's been pretty much the same. Just been doing the same damn thing week after week. So,
Mhm.
What
lots of fun.
exciting lives we live.
Indeed.
Yes.
Must be why
Absolutely.
we're here right now.
That's why
Uh,
we're the most popular podcast around. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Yep. People can't stop talking about it. That's for certain. I get stopped in the street now. Um.
I
Yeah.
get a lot of mail bombs.
Picture the-
I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, well, not getting any of that. I'm not getting any of this, guys. I don't know where this is coming from.
I get handwritten letters, fan letters. Well, I think they're actually just telling me to stop.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's nicely written. Very well done. Cursive. They put some real thought,
wow.
feeling
I
into
think
this.
I think the mail bombs I get are implying that I should stop. I think.
Maybe they're saying you're the bomb.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. So we're gonna move on for future podcasts. We're gonna do the year 2005 very soon. It's gonna be tremendous, like nothing you've ever seen before. And then after that, we're gonna be doing the year 2006. So that should be fun. 2005 is gonna be big. There's a lot of stuff that happened in 2005. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. As we get started here, the idea for this little chat, this podcast, was just growing up. I always noticed that certain trendy things that would happen out of nowhere, take everyone by storm, just completely enrapture everyone for a number of months, and then they're gone, and you never hear from them again. And I have
Mhm.
never understood exactly why. Now you could get real, way back in the day. You can talk about like, in the 18th century or something like that, people wearing wigs, horsehair wigs. That's a trend. Males did that.
Right.
But it's just like kind of like how did that catch on? Just like everyone, one day I was like, you know what, this horsehair, if I just, dye it and put it on my head, this doesn't look that bad. And then
Yeah.
it just spread on, from there. I don't understand.
I mean, no. I mean, honestly, I think it is pretty much that simple. I feel like somebody started it, had the idea, told a couple people, their friends, then they start doing it, then everyone starts seeing them, and it's like a form of emulation in a sense, right?
Hmm.
They see it, they like it, they're like, hey, that seems pretty cool. I think I'll do that.
Yeah, and everyone wants
You know.
to fit in.
But I think,
so
right? Isn't there a difference though in yeah, exactly. That's like the whole point of the trend, isn't it? So like to belong somewhere, like when we were talking about an other episode of um, what was it? The one episode we were talking about the slap heard around the world and all that,
Oh,
and how people
tribalism.
are
What's the deal with tribalism?
tribalism and in the groups and
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah. It's very similar in that regard with trends. But I was gonna say, isn't there a difference though between like a trend and a fad, right? Like a fad doesn't last long, right? Isn't that?
yes. As a
that
matter
does?
of fact, I have the Wikipedia page open for a fad because
Okay.
I looked up trend on Wikipedia and now here I am on fad.
Okay.
It's just Yeah, it's a trend that is short-lived, basically. And then it's like really sudden, quick spreading, and short-lived.
Right. Yeah.
So, I don't know, I guess a trend is,
It's like an
that they
STD
last
that breaks
longer.
out, and then
Yeah.
it just goes away. In the springtime usually. But yeah,
When the sun comes
when the
out.
sun comes out. But yeah, I just so that's why I would say like the horsehair, the wearing the wigs. That's a trend because that lasted for a long time. A lot of people wore those until
Hmm.
I think sometime around the Civil War. After that, but like fads, like starter jackets in the '90s. Um, these big poofy jackets that had like your favorite sports team on them. Everyone had a starter
Oh, sure.
jacket. Everyone had a starter jacket.
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls in my area growing up, whatever it was, whatever sports team was in the area,
Right.
they had their own starter jacket. And if
Was it like a
you,
windbreaker?
yeah, it's kind of like a windbreaker, but I remember it's just a big poofy jacket. You got your tight jeans.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those
Yeah.
like, couldn't get in on it because we didn't have enough money for a starter jacket, but I know like
Right.
that, and then Tommy Hilfiger, you know, back in the day that was a big name.
Hmm.
Everybody wanted to dress like Tommy Hilfiger.
Right.
Uh, but
That's
that's more of a fad, I'd say. That
yeah.
just lasted for
Hmm.
well, how long does it have to last before?
I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says
Yeah,
it's short-lived.
when does a
Yeah, I don't know.
fad become
Right.
a trend? And
Right.
what's the statute of limitations on that? Um,
Honestly, I think what we're mostly talking about here will be fads, I'm guessing. Because there's market trends and real estate trends and Twitter trends and
Right.
food trends,
Yeah. Yeah.
fashion trends.
how long do the
Yeah.
fashion
Trend
trends?
right. In general, it's just an incredibly broad term.
Yeah.
There's so many paths we can go down to
Hmm.
speak about trends here.
Well, yeah, that's kind of that was the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. No. But I mean, you were talking about the starter jackets. It's funny. It reminded me of the. I remember a brother had. I think it was actually our grandpa's at first. I'm not sure. It was like the Anaheim Ducks. Like the whole get up, like the jacket and the. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I had one too. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Older brother
Oh,
and
was
I
that
had.
you?
Yeah, we both had. The
Oh, I
thing is, we
both
had
did. Okay.
matching. We had fucking matching, like
Okay.
windbreakers, like windbreaker
Right.
pants, jacket, Mighty
Yeah.
Ducks. Yeah,
Hmm. It was
I
like the
thought were pretty
purple and
cool.
white or something,
Purple
and
and
then
green.
yeah,
Yeah.
purple and green. Yeah, and then there was the really popular one of the basketball Hornets team.
Oh, Charlotte Hornets. Yeah.
Yeah, where it was like this just ugly colors,
Yeah.
but very popular.
Like Zumbas in the '90s. Those workout
Right.
pants that were like leopard skin and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Those were
Hmm.
pretty sweet. Crocs nowadays.
Oh
Bell-bottom
yeah.
pants in the '70s. Big hair in the
Hmm.
'80s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Um, cocaine
Fidget
and
spinners.
hookers in the '60s.
Beanie Babies.
That's a trend. I think cocaine hookers is more of a trend. I think
Oh,
that's
that's
still
true.
going
That's
on
true. Now
today.
I thought that's true. Good point. Yeah, Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies in the '90s was insane.
Yeah, it sure
Um,
was. We,
Mm-hmm.
it's just fucking ridiculous how much money people would
my,
spend on that crap.
my dad of all people was collecting them all. Doesn't surprise me. He likes to collect things. We still have them. In
Oh,
fact, I
good
think they're in the
lord.
closet next to me. It's like big Tupperware, whatever you call those big bins full of them
Full of
Oh
Beanie
no.
Babies? Oh my God.
of Beanie
I
Babies.
think only one is actually worth any money, and it's like the Princess Diana, like the death when she
Yeah,
died, like the
the
whatever
purple
you call
one.
it, the
Yeah,
purple one that was given to, like a commemoration of it. It's got like Princess Diana's picture on one side and the Beanie Baby on the other. That's the only one that's worth anything.
and
All
even
the
then, I think it's probably about $10.
Yeah, it's not much. I remember the craze for Beanie Babies was insane, and it reminded me a lot of the craze for Funko Pops. Yeah, Funko Pops. Um, or I used to work in retail, and every day, people would come in, especially most of them on Friday, but every day. But the big one was like a Friday release, like where we get new shipments in, or we're supposed to. Somehow these people they track it online. They find out when we're supposed to get the new shipment of these Funko Pops, and they come in to go get these toys, these little toys, and they get very upset if they can't get the ones that they need. or want,
Hmm.
and they more than half the time is my understanding that they don't actually keep them; they just sell them. So they're not even like
Right.
collectors. They're just there to rip people off, and they get very upset if they're not able to rip people off if you don't help them in that regard. Um, and so
So I'm wondering.
I hate those people. I'm gonna say it right now. I hate those people. I had to deal with them
I,
every day.
Well,
well, yeah, I was thinking like the Funko Pops are similar to the Beanie Babies, right? But it
They're,
seemed
definitely.
like
that's what I
when the
think.
Beanie, right? It seemed like when the Beanie Babies were around, though, they were way more popular. And I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm wrong about that,
No, I don't think you're wrong.
but
I think well, Beanie
it.
Babies. Oh, go on. Sorry.
No, no, no. That was about it. That was it.
Well, I just gonna say I think the Beanie Babies are they were able to get a broader audience, a broader group of people. So like
Oh,
with
sure.
Funko Pops, you pretty much you have to know that fictional character or whatever that
Oh,
X
yeah.
Men that you're looking for. With Beanie Babies,
Right.
it's just you need a Beanie Baby, and grandmas love Beanie. If you can get grandmas on board,
Right.
you've got a good
Yeah.
product. That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's
Well,
from
no,
kids
not
to
hold on.
grandmas.
Well, not a good
I mean,
product.
Yep.
it's
You've got one that'll sell, I should say.
right. You have, yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I remember our grandma. We were at McDonald's and they were giving out Beanie Babies and a Happy Meal, and
Hmm.
she saw that I had a little giraffe and I liked the giraffe. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like this giraffe here, Beanie Baby giraffe. And she said, Chris, I'll give you $5 for that giraffe. And so my grandma's swindling me out of this Beanie Baby. And then she got her own Happy Meal, and she was well past Happy Meal time. She's not a Happy Meal, she shouldn't be eating a
Right.
Happy Meal. Well, she also got a
Yeah.
giraffe. Go figure. So she told me to give her the $5 back and gave me back the giraffe. I was just like,
Jesus.
okay, and yeah. I remember being like happy that I had $5, and then I was like, I guess I'll take the $5 over this giraffe. And then she's like, no, I don't need it anymore. You give me my $5 back. Here, have the giraffe. And I was
Oh
like,
my
I'd rather have the
God.
$5. You know, I'd rather have the five
Right.
bucks.
Yeah,
So
for
That's
sure.
that's the day you lost your innocence right there. That's rough.
clouds
Man,
got
she really
dark.
pushed me into
Yep.
the
It
society,
rained
didn't she?
on the way to the
The
car.
true
Yeah.
nature of
Yeah,
reality
right.
came across your vision.
So yeah, it's stuff like that. Interesting, and I would mention this to people, when they're getting Funko Pops. These are just new age Beanie Babies. I have a hard time. Like, I'm not a big collector. I understand that people like certain like pop culture, you know, what do you call it, like figurines or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, Whether it be like some sort of like comic book character or whatnot or movie character. I understand that people like them, but they go to such extreme lengths to collect every little thing about it, and they have like an entire rooms dedicated to these figurines or whatever, and I'm just
Mm.
not like that. So it's always kind of hard for me to understand why people buy all this crap, and they spend a lot of money, just buying these dolls essentially to display over in their room in the house or whatever. Like
Mm.
if you looked at me, you would not really know that what my favorite sports team was, what my favorite band is. I don't have a single T-shirt supporting any band. Not that I don't support bands, but I also don't have any T-shirts by them. Not that there's anything wrong with people that do. I'm not. I've never been that type of person to get a T-shirt, letting everyone else know a little
Right.
bit about me. I like to
Yeah,
remain
so
a mystery, is what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I've
looking
always.
at Oh, go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just thinking about like those people that like devote a whole room of their house to like one particular thing. It boggles my mind that anyone could just settle on one thing like that. It's like,
Right?
oh, I'm into the creature from the Black Lagoon, so my whole second bedroom is just posters and figurines and costumes and anything with that creature's face on it. Like, oh, that's what you decided on. Like, it's
It's
going to be that the creature from
Yeah,
the Black Lagoon.
yeah, it's weird.
Yes, I was looking at I was just looking online and found like the sun dot com dot uk. I don't know
Hmm.
if you guys are familiar with that. Okay, so like they have like some of the biggest trends of all time, biggest fads of all time.
Hey, there we
Rubik's
go.
Cube is part of that. Um, Parker pens, not sure what that is. Lava lamps,
Oh yeah, lava
Oh,
lamps.
yeah, lava lamps are
um,
cool. though.
Marbles.
the funniest thing about it is Friends, the TV show. They have that in
For a
there
fad.
too. I thought that was
For
really funny.
fad. Yeah.
Doc Martens. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, 'cause that did not
Yeah.
last long. No one give a shit anymore. Um, Pac-Man. These are just to
Mm.
name a few. They got like 100
Pac-Man
of them
fever.
listed. So yeah, when I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like Rubik's cube. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
Pet Rocks was a
Pet
thing in the
Rocks in the
70s
70s,
for
yeah.
a
Pet Rock.
very
Yeah,
Yeah.
um
Let's
hmm
sell you a fucking
The
Yeah, you
Chia
mentioned-
Pet. The Chia
Oh
Pet.
yeah,
Chia
Chia
Pet.
Pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating to think, all the crap that gets thrown our way in this materialistic, this capitalistic society, I guess you could say, where we're just constantly buying things, just these
Right.
things. We need these things, and every 6 months or so, someone's, shoveling out some more crap for you to be like, yeah, you
Yeah.
know what, I do need that.
Right.
So like,
Yeah,
it's
I got some of the biggest crap from all time. I just found Furby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a
oh,
Furby.
I thought you said Fergie, and I was thinking of the singer from the Black Eyed Peas. I was like,
No,
yeah,
well,
I
that's
agree.
true. That's
I
true as
agree.
Close
well.
enough.
But
And
Furby, I
that
remember
is
that.
definitely a fad.
Yeah, Furby. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Furby.
Shit. I remember like being a kid like waiting in line at Toys R Us to get a Furby for Christmas or something.
Yeah, I think our cousins had a Furby, and we tried
Those
to
things
teach
were-
it curse words and stuff like that.
No, it was
Oh,
a very
sure.
it was actually a very simple device basically with like fur over it.
Mhm. Yeah, they were supposed to like communicate with each other. Like I remember we had the Furby like in the like above the dashboard, staring out the front window, and it would just be like, "Whoa,
Whoa.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like it's going like 65 miles an hour."
just turns to its head slowly. Slow
That
the
poor
fuck
Furby.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Furby, take the
did you-
wheel.
You guys remember Digipets at all?
Yeah,
From the
Digipets.
90s?
Yep.
Yeah, or Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchis. Yep, absolutely.
Tamagotchis, yep.
Yeah.
Mood rings, obviously, like from the 70s,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
mood rings.
They came back.
big
That's another
thing.
thing. I want
Yeah.
to get to that in a second here, but go on.
Right. Uh, Pez dispensers.
Pez
That's another
dispensers.
thing people have been, they collect, yeah.
Pez dispensers are still a thing. People still do.
Yeah, there's a whole
Yep.
museum of them somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just
I
I
crazy.
forget.
I
It might be in
Consider
Colorado.
that
I don't know.
yeah, consider that a trend ultimately. For sure.
Yeah,
Cabbage
it's
Patch Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Tickle Me Elmo for Christmas that one
Yeah.
year. My Little Ponies. Trolls. Little trolls with the little dolls with like the gem in their stomach.
Oh my God.
Or,
Yeah, it just keeps yeah.
Man,
It's just there's
it's
so many
just-
different layers and examples of things that they just have one thing and then they change it to another, but it's in all these different like categories, and it just it's just like that's the society we live in. Like you were saying earlier, they're just pushing shit out to us constantly.
Yeah.
Like buy this, buy this.
I mean, what is it? It's for obviously you think like the troll dolls, right? It's for children. A
Mhm.
little child is gonna. That's the
Right.
idea is that they market it towards children. Children tell their parents. The parents go and buy those items or whatever. But what happens when the
Yep,
parents
yep.
themselves get obsessed with them? Because there's grown ass people that love trolls and like have an entire room dedicated to trolls.
That's
and
true.
and
yeah.
it's just like I feel like there's some sort of mental issue there. This is not me
Yeah.
making light. I seriously consider. I really think that there's something wrong there. That you shouldn't be, this obsessed. You can love something like that, but
yeah.
like they have an entire section of their house dedicated to this one little toy. It's that obsessive personality. It's just
Right.
it's not healthy. It's
Well,
just,
I mean, I guess it's healthier in some regard. Like if they have that sort of personality, to not be like heavily drinking or doing heavy drugs instead, and like they're collecting. I mean, they're not harming anybody. But it is a little weird. It's definitely creepy in a sense too. Being
Yeah, I
a
know.
middle-aged man collecting Furbies.
I could just see that, like a middle-aged man, he's in his room just like combing his Furbies and just saying, "Well, at least it's not cocaine. At least it's not heroin. At least it's not, drugs
Right.
in this regard.
Yeah.
And imagine if he was on drugs and doing that. Oh boy,
Well,
Well,
I
what
mean,
that
trouble
would
he'd
make
be
more
in.
sense
that's
then.
probably why
That would
he's
make
doing
more
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just doing a
He's
rail of
gotta shoot
cocaine
up
off our
before he looks
Furby's
at-
ass. Just hear like, whoa, whoa.
Oh God.
Oh man, you got okay. Have you guys ever heard of from the 50s? These are so ridiculous. Everyone had like there was this big thing going, the vibrating weight loss belts.
Oh yeah, I've seen
yeah.
videos of that.
Like
Okay.
what?
Yeah, I saw a friend of mine actually had electric where it would shock your muscles into contracting, so that way you'd build muscle in that regard. That's what they thought.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
I remember the
so-
commercials for that thing.
Yeah, he
You just
got
like wear
it.
it around your midsection
Yeah,
and it.
yeah. Well, we were teenagers,
shocks
so
you.
guess where we put them, and
I
dared
can only
each other.
imagine.
Yeah. God, that was terrible.
That's awful.
I did it for my
That's
arm.
awful.
That's all I was willing to do. But you put like, don't put it on your head. No, put it on your head. Just like shock your brain. Try and get smarter for that test. Oh God, it's stupid. But yeah, Taibo, other workout programs like that. The Gazelle, these workout gurus, they come in
Oh,
and
yeah.
sell you crap too.
Yep.
But what I wanted to talk about, which Nick reminded me a bit earlier ago, was not only that, but fashion trends that come back. So, like I said, in the 70s, bell bottoms, were big, stuff like that. 70s style clothing, you could say,
Right.
came back in the early mid 2000s, where everybody had bell bottoms and like flowy t-shirts and big hair, big fucking
Yes.
hair. Everyone had massive hair. And it was funny because you'd get those couple of people that would just join in and try and like sneak. So like all of a sudden a trend starts and everyone starts jumping in on that ship, and then someone tries to sneak their way onto the ship as well, and just claim that they were doing it the whole time. I've always had big hair. I've always dressed like them from the 70s. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Somebody tried to like cover their tracks instead of just being honest and just be like, well, yeah, I'm kind of a follower in this regard. But yeah, everybody growing up, especially when I was in high school, it was like that 70s show where everyone just wanted to dress like they're from the 70s. And I remember like Hollister was a big deal, and Abercrombie and Fitch and all that crap.
Of course.
Everyone wear Doc Martens,
Yep.
and I hated that. And I also couldn't afford it, which added to my level of hate. So I went the exact opposite, and we went to, what was it? We went to Goodwill and stuff like that, and we went to like the dollar T-shirt section, the quarter T, and we would just get like the weirdest looking T-shirts we could find, preferably ones with names on it. Yeah, and wear those around, and it became like what's the oddest piece of clothing I could wear, and that's what I would do. I wouldn't do like
Right.
like the Abercrombie. I hated those stores, and they'd smell weird. And they loud ass music. What was another one? Hollister? Did I say
They do,
Hollister?
I mean, they do smell strange, but if you're walking to a Goodwill, I mean, that they have a certain scent to them. I mean,
I like that
it's
musky,
it's like a musk.
moldy smell. I like that.
Yeah.
It smells like home.
It's like they just take the clothes and they just they just hang them up when they get them. They don't even
I always thought
bother.
Goodwill should branch out into like the food industry and just start selling like half-eaten apples and like half-gallon of milk.
Oh, come on.
Oh man, hey, this milk expires today. Let's go.
You
Come
better
on.
go. Come on, it's only a quarter. It's only a quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
if the
Someone
price was
bit into
right,
that
sure.
sandwich. That's okay. Just chop it off. Just eat the other half. You're good.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
It's Goodwill.
yeah.
You know?
Good lord.
Yeah, that's what it'd be called. Good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just and I think the '80s came out like a little bit after, which makes sense because it's just like it's recycled. Yeah, it's pretty much how it was, because if you think about it, if the '70s were starting, let's say like the late '90s with that crazy like very brightly colored like sunglasses and T-shirts and clothing, there's a lot of '60s. And then the '70s with like I said, the bell bottoms and the all that stuff, big hair, big poofy hair, long hair, stuff like that is '70s, and that was early 2000s, and then it moves on to the '80s, which was like the end of the decade for 2000, to 2009. And then we get hipsters, and we get a lot of that stuff, which kind of reminds you of early '90s, the grunge era, with the flannel T-shirts, and it just keeps repeating itself, and it's just like the recycled garbage that they had back in 20 years ago. They're just selling to you again, and people buy it. And I don't know exactly when it's decided we're going to move on from this trend or this fad, but it is weird, and it mostly starts, from my understanding, in higher population, so like cities. Like there's a lot of stuff that
Well, that
happens in
makes sense.
Chicago,
Mhm.
yeah, that we don't even
Yep.
hear about, even though we're 45 minutes from Chicago. I remember going to visit family
Right.
that live in suburbs, and they're on to things that I've never even heard of, that make its way to our area within 6 months, and then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. So
Hmm.
it's interesting that it's pretty much those big conglomeration of people, those populations. That's where they start, and they just slowly spread out. And so like the Midwest is always the last people to like get anything. It's like to understand, where is it at now? Where's the needle at? They don't
Mhm.
they don't they don't know for a couple of years. So um, it is interesting to me, that sort of the way it spreads and how slow it is
Right.
sometimes, and also how quick. And
Well, I think obviously, as we all know, it's definitely gotten much easier now because of the internet,
mhm.
um, the advancement of the internet and social media and whatnot. So anyone can basically start a fad or an ongoing trend from anywhere in the world.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and
what all these.
I think a lot of them are just like self-created by the company that's pushing the product itself. Like
Sure.
they make up the fad or the trend, then have a bunch of,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe fake accounts or pay people off to
Yep.
perpetuate it, and there you go.
Yeah. It's just, it feels like anything could be. You could literally make your own trend, your own fad, if you had it just right. It would spread. It's kind of
Yes.
like
Yep.
being in a sports arena, you know, and you can be the first person to start the chant, and eventually everyone starts chanting that chant.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's that mob mentality. So you be that
It's
first
the sense.
person.
Well, yeah. The trend and all that though is more like a sense of belonging, right?
Well,
I
that's the same thing
mean,
with
Yeah.
the chant.
I mean, I
We're all chanting
yeah. No, it
together,
is. It is. Yeah. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. It's like a mob mentality when you're like actually in the same room with these people.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
all cheering for the same team.
Right.
You know, like even if it's not like the
All wear
let's
the same colors.
right, that's not a let's go team. It's something else. Maybe it's a bit more risque. You know,
Hmm.
maybe it's a bit more controversial of a chant, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you everyone will join in, especially if it's pro that team, if it's the home team, especially. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, and I think that's kind of how it starts. It's just someone says or does
Hmm.
something, someone creates something, or this is good, and someone also agrees, and then it just takes off slowly but surely. Then you get 3 people, then you get 6 people, then
Hmm.
you get 12 people, then you get 24 people. It's just boom.
Right.
It's like a virus. It's a lot like a virus, um,
Yes, it is.
and it just spreads out. Like I said, it's an STD. What do we have this week? What is a pet rock in comparison to an STD? Is it chlamydia? Is it, what is it?
Oh well.
Yeah. So what is
Herpes probably.
herpes? What was
Yeah.
the Furbies? What is it? I don't even know. I don't even
Hmm.
know what you call that.
Gonorrhea
Gonorrhea.
probably.
Gonorrhea. Yeah, we'll equate it to that. So yeah, interesting.
Baby Beanie Babies, syphilis definitely.
Syphilis for beanie babies. Okay, okay. Um,
Kill Al Capone.
uh, it's always the least thing you expect. Tax evasion and syphilis. The right 1-2 punch that he couldn't handle. Um, yeah. So just yeah, I thought that was interesting. Um, it's interesting how it all comes along and how everyone just seems like one day it goes from not saying these words, saying this phrase or something like that. Do you remember? I'm in high school. Used to say like "goo" when like something was like shocking, or like you're freaked out, like "oh goo,"
Right.
And eventually
Yeah.
it spread around the school, and everyone was saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Goo, goo," and I remember thinking, like, really? I mean, we used to say that, and I got
Right.
that from an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, that was
Pretty
Billy
sure it was
Madison.
Billy
Oh, yeah.
Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yep.
they just started doing it. I remember another thing, like being at lunchtime, we were sitting on like the bleachers after waiting to go back to class, and Pearl Jam's Black plays, and
Oh yeah,
I hold
I
up the
remember that.
radio, like it was like Say Anything, I think is the name of that movie, that '80s movie where the
Yeah.
guy is like
John Cusack.
John Cusack, yeah.
That
So-
Peter Gabriel song. Yeah.
yeah, Your Eyes or something like that. I'm holding
Uh-huh.
up the
Oh yeah.
I'm holding up the radio and it's playing, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, just over and over again. And we just all start doing doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It just everyone
Yeah.
on the line of bleachers I was at, we all start singing it. Just that line, that's it. And by the end
Right.
of the day, everyone in the school just randomly would be walking to a locker and just hum doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And it just spread. And eventually one of my friends came up to me and said, "I hate you. Why? Because you've got everyone in the damn school singing doo 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 doo," just over and over again. So try it. I mean, it's another interesting. There's a little social experiment for people out there. It's pretty easy. You're around people. You see some people. If you're let's say you're walking on the sidewalk, you see some people walking the same way. If you stop with what you're doing, or you stop on the sidewalk, look up and just point. Everyone that's walking towards you will look where you're pointing. No one will not notice you, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone will look in that direction, even though there's nothing
yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And people will continue walking, look back at you, then look up again to see if they've missed anything, if they're crazy, or if you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They assume they don't see anything, and they just think you're crazy, and they just walk away.
Right.
But
That's
which
probably
they're
what
right.
would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But they cannot
also
not
there's-
look. Go on.
Right. There's another one too. If you go into an elevator, just face away from the doors, basically the opposite direction that
Oh
everyone
my
else is
God.
going. And people will be like, "What the hell is going on with
Yeah.
this guy?" Like, yeah. That's a good one.
That's gonna get you arrested.
Here's
Yeah, it'll make a lot of people very uncomfortable.
maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
But there's a safe one you can do, and it does work if you're in like a crowd of people. Just start a clap when the person if they're like speaking, if you're like watching a speaker or something, and they just like pause in between some sentences, just start clapping. And people will clap. I mean, it usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. You're just the only jackass clapping for no reason.
That
But
does
when it
happen.
does work, it's even funnier. Oh my god! I did that in middle school once, and it was hysterical. We all clapped for this lady was telling us about where she was visiting, like going to all these places in Europe, and she was telling us, and this is a McDonald's in France, and I just started clapping. And everyone clapped, and she's like, "Well, I guess you all like McDonald's, huh?" Never
Let's just
forget
say like, and they got Big Macs too. It's like, wow, you guys are really. This is the best crowd I've ever had.
Yeah. Let me show you some more McDonald's I've been to.
Have you heard of chicken nuggets? They're the same over there.
They call it a Royale with cheese.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
because the metric system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Look at
Right,
the big
sure.
brain on Brad. Look at the big fucking brain on Brad. So yeah, funny stuff like that. It's interesting. We are creatures of habit. We cannot escape our, though we've evolved, and we've got the opposable thumbs. We still, as I believe it's Darwin that said it, bear the stamp of our lowly origin. You can tell that we descended from apes. You could just tell.
Right.
You can't get around it. There's a lot of things that we do that are just ingrained within us that we've carried, that's just genetic, and there's
Right.
no way around it. The evolutionary process is still ongoing.
Right.
So maybe we'll eventually get rid of that, but
Sure.
at this moment in time, you can totally tell, where we came from. It shows. It really does. So,
Yeah, it kind of makes us human though at the same time.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like I hope it never goes away.
I think it'll just evolve into something else. And
Yeah,
it'll just be
perhaps.
based on that.
Yeah.
We won't be around
Right.
for that, so don't worry about it, Brad.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was worried there for a
You'll be
second.
long dead.
It could
Long
happen
gone.
tomorrow.
Actually, next
It
Tuesday.
can happen to you.
God, like in trends and in entertainment, they happen all the time. With movies, TV shows, you know what's working, what's a hit. Everyone tries to get that next hit, and once they do, they branch off into like just copycats of the exact same thing. So the easiest example that I can think of that we've been covering, American Idol. A lot of singing competitions based off that. Survivor, reality TV show, just in general, spawned an insane amount of reality TV shows.
Oh,
Most of them, if not 95%, crap. But people still watch it to this
Speaking
day.
of speaking of American Idol, I watched the one last night. It was like a live one, and it was all Disney songs.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
it was something.
Oh God, what was that shit that you told me you and your parents were watching?
Oh yeah,
What the fuck
that
was that?
was
I forget.
oh it was a tribute to Queen,
Oh, that's right.
but I forget who it was by. Was it like Glee or something, or just some group
I
of
don't know if that's still
singing
around.
people,
I'd
or
look-
I
I'd
don't know
look
what
that
it
up.
was.
I'd look that up. I can't remember, but God, it was
But
terrible.
yeah, the one last night, American Idol. Oh my God, I don't even know anymore. They're down to like 10 people, and it's like, I'm like, okay, so which ones? You know, you got to have a mix of races and a mix of like genders, and then you got to have the one who's like fat and ugly. You know, oh, there he is. Well, and my mom was saying how he was blind in one eye, and he had experimental surgery to fix his eye. I'm like, oh, there it is. The what do you call that? Not it's a sob story,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it's also
Poor
like
Unfortunate Soul. Did he sing that? The Ursula song? Poor
No.
Unfortunate- Oh, okay.
he didn't. He sang "Circle of Life," which was weird. Poor Unfortunate Souls was by kind of like the fat girl, who, you know,
Gotcha.
and she was dressed all in purple, so she looked like Ursula.
That's dope. That's not bad.
Yeah, it was just bad all around, really.
Right. I'd probably exit the show. Yeah. Entertainment
like-
trends, movie trends. It's
Like Ryan Seacrest is still there. Like
He's still
not
there?
even he's not even a person. He's not even human. I don't even know what he
it's
is.
just they plug him in.
I don't know.
Hi, I'm
It's
Ryan
weird.
Seacrest. I miss bring back Dinkelman, the guy that was there for the first year and then quit, and then the show took off, and he's like, "Oh fuck, well, I guess I screwed myself there." Ryan
back. He's
fucking
probably-
Seacrest.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, like,
that's American Idol.
With you'll always notice like in movies, you'll see like the exact same movie come out within 6 months of each other. The exact same movie, and what I mean by that is like Armageddon, Deep Impact, you know, Paul Bart, Mall Cop, and then that movie with Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, yeah.
What's that one called? I can't remember.
Yeah. Something. I don't remember what it was called, but
I'll look it
I
up
know
real
what you
quick.
mean.
It's
Yeah.
Seth Rogen cop movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you mean, though, yeah.
Observe and Report. So yeah.
Observe and report, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got Observe and Report, and we've got Paul Bart, Mall Cop. Like I said, Armageddon, Deep Impact. You get all these types of movies that are pretty much the exact same thing, and
Right.
it becomes like this weird, or sort of like time period of just I guess that's the movies we were into at that time. I guess. But
Again, these are also like, you know, just fad movies basically, in
Yeah.
a sense.
Yes.
Where it's
Hey,
just,
I found that Queen thing. It was the Queen Family Sing Along on ABC.
oh, that sounds
with like
awful.
with like random singers and bands and stuff. Tribute to Queen's 50th anniversary. That's what they get for 50 years. The Queen Family
yeah,
Sing
I'd
Along.
like to see the whole family hit Freddie Mercury's notes. Yeah, I'd like to see that. God damn it, just cackling.
The tribute to Queen. How many years did they say? 50?
50
50 years. Jesus Christ.
since they
Since
started,
they
I would
started.
assume.
Yeah. Who would have guessed that in 50 years later they would be God. At that point, I mean, yikes. I think I'd rather be Freddie Mercury right now than to have to go through that. And I know that he's dead, and that's what I mean. I'd rather be.
Ah,
I wouldn't want that. It just 50 years, and if this is the what you're gonna do, I'd just rather you didn't do anything. I'd rather save what little good name we have left, if that because Queen's still regarded as an all-time great. You know, too much of Queen,
yeah.
um, too much of anything is gonna make it. You know, people eventually start going against them, and if they start releasing shows like that, they're definitely gonna start going against them. I
Right.
just remember
Yeah.
laughing my ass off at how bad it was. It's just cheesy as hell. I don't know who the fuck that was for. Because even the
I
people
don't
that
know
were
either.
Queen's age aren't that old and aren't gonna find it that appealing at all. They aren't gonna watch that. So I don't know who it's for. Um, it's just extremely cheesy, really bad idea. Thank you, ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah. So we get entertainment trends, fads. We get you know all that, whether music fads, you know, pop groups. They come along. It's always the same.
Yep.
10 years,
Clothing,
clothing,
toys.
toys, the whole thing. Everyone. It's
Yep.
just this constant vicious circle where
Mm-hmm.
you got to get the new thing. You know, you don't have to, but you got to get this. I like
Right.
that. I think it's David Cross who was talking about. I can't remember the book he liked to read from the magazine, where it was just like it would let you know that there was a product, but the way they would release it or they would show it to you, they would say something like, "Finally, after all
Oh
this,
yes.
like."
It, yeah. It was the book. I don't remember the name either. It was the book that he was reading on the flight.
Right, the
That was selling these
time mug,
outrageous items. Like yeah, like the time mug. Yeah, or the money clip.
right?
The money clip that works.
Oh, Sky Mall. I think
Sky
is what
Sky
Mall,
that's
Mall.
called.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yep. Yeah.
finally, now you can
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
this, like,
Been waiting so long.
right?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Now that you have a mug with a clock on it, it's a lot easier than just wearing a
Ooh.
watch.
It's a clever alternative.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a great bit.
Oh yeah,
One of my favorite bits.
yeah. So, I would say my thoughts on it in terms of I don't know who creates it. I think it's random every time. But the way that we are evolved and the way that our minds work, we are susceptible to this sort of marketing, I should say, um, where
Hmm.
we get it, we see the new product, one person gets it, we're envious of that, we want that too, and then it just spreads, even if it's not even worth fighting over or worth buying, worth having. Doesn't matter. It's the image, so we want that. If I have more things, I'll be worth something. So it's just yeah, in the way that kind of like clothes are there to get a compliments for you that you would otherwise not receive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your stuff replaces the compliments you just wouldn't receive anyway. So yeah, it's just it's kind of sad, and kind of funny. It's a weird mixture, tragedy, comedy. It's just what is comedy? Tragedy plus time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
tragic in the moment if you think about it, because of all the stuff that we could be doing, of all the things that we could be focusing our time on, it's ends up being, you know, Beanie Babies and Pet Rocks and
Yep.
Yes.
getting new starter jackets and new clothing, um, new hairstyles. It's all this stuff.
Nowadays, it's the new what's the new tech, you know?
Yeah, new tech. Yeah, get the
Yeah.
newest, most expensive this or whatever, and you know, you're worthy. If you don't have that, then you're falling behind. You know,
Right.
and not too long ago was the hipster movement, which was skinny jeans, flannel t-shirts, well
Hmm.
trimmed beards, but a beard all the same. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
musky hats, only like indie music, don't even really like the indie music that you're supposed to like or that you like, because you can't be too. Oh, this actually just brought me back into something else that I was gonna talk about. But I'll continue with the hipsters. It's just I hate. I really do. I really hate the groups of those like groups of people where it's like you have to um like answer all the questions correctly. You have to like the right bands. You have to wear the right
Oh
clothing.
no.
You have to think the certain way. This is
Right.
into
Mm-hmm.
tribalism a little as well.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
but
Right.
this is also this is tribalism, but this is like not only that, uh, all the clothes that they wear are exactly the same. So like I was
Mm-hmm.
really big into punk rock when I was younger, like right out of high
Right.
school. One of the things that I found out about other people that were into punk rock is they all let you know they were into punk rock. And they
Hmm.
let you know
Right.
with their words and their clothing. You know, they had
Mm-hmm.
all the hoodies, they had all the leather jackets or pleather with all the
Mm-hmm.
patches, with all the buttons, with all the, bobby pins or whatever the hell they were. Just all that stuff. The gelled hair, the spiked up hair, the mohawks, the tattoos, the lifestyle.
Right.
And you had to
Yeah.
like the right bands. And a lot of people that I liked that good friends with, but they were like big, huge into punk rock. You'd ask them about their favorite bands, and they say, "Oh, I love this band." Well, and then they break it down, and they actually only like two songs, and they're actually not that big of a fan of
Mm-hmm.
any of it because they don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
stuck. They don't want to pigeonhole themselves and like that guy likes this band. He doesn't really like punk rock. He's not a real punk rocker. That
Right.
sort of level of I don't know. I don't even know what you'd call that. Just I always really disliked that, and it made me not want to be a part of it. So I ended up stop. Like to me, my thought was, well, where they think of punk rock, the most punk thing to do would be probably to wear a suit and a tie and look real nice and presentable. That would be punk rock, by their definition of punk rock. Being
Mm-hmm.
the opposite. If you just all look and wear the same damn thing, you're no longer punk. You're just a conformist. And
Right.
the conformity, um, the anti-conformity by conforming to the anti-conformity is conformity. If that makes sense.
Yes, it
Um,
does.
Yeah,
okay, so,
absolutely.
so it just does no one else notice this? Um, you can like punk rock music and not wear a single thing that even remotely says punk rock or talk about it in that regard. You don't
Right.
have to do
Well,
that.
I think that ultimately it's because they're telling themselves that they're not conforming, so they're just not seeing it that way because
Right.
they're living that life. They're listening to that music. They're in that lifestyle, right? And they're
Hmm.
telling themselves, I'm not conforming every day.
Right.
So they're just not seeing that. Of course, you can see it because it's almost like outside looking in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine he used to make me laugh because he would talk about all the bands that he hates, and he hates them for for reasons like he didn't like Led Zeppelin because he doesn't like their record label because the record label had some band that was signed to them that he really didn't like, and he just disregarded the whole record label, and that included like bands that had nothing to do with that. So he would go on and talk about how he likes music, but I never heard him like any band. His name is Dan, and I was like, Dan,
Mhm.
you say you like music, Dan, but I've yet to hear a single song that you like. And I'm pretty sure he settled on Mother by Danzig, and and then
Ooh,
he,
that's a
and he recorded or not recorded. He karaoke'd that. That was the only song he'd karaoke. Did you see a mother? Mother.
what a hill to die on. Had to settle on one song that he liked.
And he chose "Mother" by Danzig. Yeah, not that it's
Well,
a
yeah, he
bad
dug
song,
himself into a hole.
right? So you can't like anything like that, and
Apparently.
it's like that with punk music. It's like that with pop music. It's like that with any group of people. You just have to
Mhm.
like that what they like. If you are outside the box, or if you don't wear their clothing, if you don't talk like them and think and act like them, you know,
Mhm.
you're not going to be a part of them, and then you're on your own, and you are ostracized from a community, um, just for not conforming, and that's pretty much it. And it's sad
I,
that
hmm.
it's still kind of like that
Yep.
to this day.
Yep.
I think that stuff like what that would
That's true.
you'd say, oh, this is just high school shit, junior high shit. No,
I
it's
was gonna.
it's it's still today. That
Mm-hmm.
song Bob O'Reilly, with the line "Teenage Wasteland," I think rings true.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fucking teenage wasteland, regardless of how old
Mm-hmm.
you are. The problems that you see that you run into when you're in junior high and high school, uh, exist in the outside world too. So go ahead, Brad.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm 35, and I just I don't subscribe to any of that, so I don't know.
Oh no.
I just like what I like, and then I dislike what I dislike, and it could be
Right.
anything.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I feel the same way, Brad, because I've been this way for a while now. Actually, since I've gotten out of like my mid 20s,
Yes,
I felt this way, like kind of not really, just not having a style, just wearing whatever the fuck I
exactly.
wear,
Yeah,
and listening to whatever I listen to, and I'm no longer like, how could you not listen to this band or whatever. I feel jealous of people that haven't listened to the bands I like, and I'm grateful if they were to actually give it a listen.
right. Um,
Yeah.
so do people still act like this at our ages?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
That's what
Apparently,
I'm wondering.
yeah.
oh
Like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
oh yeah, man.
I don't know. I must have just like sifted through people and just kept
Well,
friends that aren't like that.
here's the thing. Here's what's really gonna blow your guys' brains out. Is you're gonna find that the people that also don't hold any trends, don't hold any fashions, wear what they want to wear, listen to music that they want to listen to, and so on and so forth. They're all part of another group of people that also do the exact same thing. There's
Ah,
still
shit.
people out there that um, are hardcore punk rock fans, and they only listen to punk. You
Right.
know that they're punk rock. You know
Mm-hmm.
that they're into metal.
Yeah.
You know that they're goth. You know that they're all this
That's
stuff.
true.
They're still out there, but
Yeah.
I'm also in the same boat you guys are in, where I don't. I like to wear the most plain clothing as I possibly can, so that no one
Yeah.
has an opinion on me based on what I'm wearing.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, and I take this line from Kurt Cobain, where I like to dress down in a sense, so people have a less opinion of me. So I want people to think highly of themselves as opposed to my appearance. Like to look at me and be like, oh
Mm-hmm.
God, at least I don't look like that guy. That guy looks like he's homeless.
Right.
I'll go with that.
There you go.
They won't bother
Yeah.
me. They'll leave me alone. Maybe they'll throw me some change. But yeah, it's
All
not
right.
like anything. So yeah, there's a group of people that you would think of are normal, and I would consider it normal because this is, for me, as normal as it gets. Just living your life, not adhering to any faction, whether it be punk, pop, or whatever, and just kind of going about your day. There are still people out there, unfortunately
Mm-hmm.
or fortunately, depending how you look at it, who still are holding on or carrying that torch for whatever it is. Metal
Now,
fans, yeah, same thing.
now, if we are considered, I guess, in the neutral state, then aren't we technically conforming to neutrality?
That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm
So
saying.
it does. So regardless of
Regardless
anything,
of
there's
anything,
always
there's always
conformity,
exactly,
Yeah.
and it's inescapable
exactly,
in essence.
It's best
exactly,
not to think about it.
and that's is kind of the, yeah, it's,
That's what I do. I just don't even think about it. Just like,
yeah,
yep, whatever. Am I in that group? Cool.
yeah.
Right
All
on.
right. Yeah.
You didn't put yourself in
Sweet.
it necessarily. It just is. It's like the leftovers, like the
Like,
island of
fuck,
misfit
that's the
toys.
group I'm in.
Yeah.
Like you discovering it. Oh shit, that's the group I'm
If I
in.
see Brad
Yeah.
like doffed in like black and goth like makeup after this, it's like
guess
I
this is the
decided to
group I'm
switch.
in. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I'm
groups.
switching. Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Good
some
luck to you,
people do
Brad.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, best of luck. Yeah, no, for sure. For
Just
sure.
reinvent yourself. I could be like David Bowie and reinvent myself every 5 years.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, go with the Ziggy first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be Ziggy for a while.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense if you think about how everything just changes anyway. You might as well just switch it up. What's the worst that happens? So, yeah, I would. My it what's also funny about it is not only do we break off into groups, even groups that aren't breaking off into groups that don't want to do that are also part of a group. It just you can't avoid it. It
Mhm.
simply is.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
it's just there's not a lot of least where people are like, I don't talk with that group. I don't talk with that. It doesn't seem to be a great deal. The people I think more today are more okay with it than they were back in the day. So like, if you were goth way back in the day, you were an outcast to say the least. Nowadays, I feel like you can be goth and still not be treated like shit. So and something along those lines. So yeah, I think we're getting more accepting in this regard. So, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it still exists, and it's just interesting to me that that's how we are as a species. That it doesn't matter what it is, we just break things down into groups, into groups, into groups, and we sell ourselves these fucking awful products that we get into groups, and so on and so forth. And it just never, it's this perpetual wheel. It just keeps turning, and we just, we were here, we were wearing these clothes 30 years ago, we're back again, and we were buying this product. It's the same thing, just an updated version.
Yeah, everything old is new again.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, it'll just continue happening, and then one day you'll die, and there you go. That's it.
Oh.
All right. Well, on that note, I think I'll do a final thought here. If I can,
off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head here. Nah, it's probably not. It's probably not going to be a good one. So I don't know. I could. Final thought. Yeah, it's basically what I just said. Just replay that again.
Well, we all just
play it again.
Yeah, just play it again. That's my final thought. Yeah, just do it again. It's just...
Oh no, I have sort of a final thought.
Oh, go on. We'll try and do our own final thoughts off top.
Yeah,
of our head.
I was just thinking.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like basic human behavior. No one wants to be alone. You want to be a part of a group, and then, companies or people take advantage of this, in order to sell their product. And I don't know. I commend them for it. That they are just exploiting basic human behavior, and they're making a lot of money off of it, and people feel like they're part of something. I don't know. I guess it's a win-win in a way.
All right.
There
we go.
That's all I got.
My final thought on it, I'd say, would be, I definitely agree with what Brad is saying, 100%. I'd also add to it, though, that I feel like, obviously, in the capitalist sort of society, it's the worst. Like, it's the absolute worst. Like, you'll get it all over the world, obviously, because it's a human thing, to belong, and to then emulate those around you and start trends and fads and whatnot. But in a capitalist society, there's an endless amount of them, and in every different category, whether it's tech or toys or music or fashion. It's just to get your money, and then it's also to make you change your lifestyle in a way to adhere to that sort of product. And it's toxic as hell. So yeah, for sure, that's my final thought on it.
Excellent.
All right. My final thought will then be, it is my view, it is the crushing of your individualism, your individuality. If we are sold the same shit in a loop, we buy the same shit, it's just the same stuff over and over again. We just become part of the cog. We are part of the machine. And you just kind of blend in with the rest. You become a statistic. You're a number. The best thing that you can do is to think for yourself, and to, even if so, the goal then would be to have a piece of pie, a piece in every single section, every single group. I like this and that. I like this and that. I like this. And to me, that would be ideal. You're able to explore and still maintain your own sense of individuality. The way that things are set up right now with that machine running, especially in the capitalist society, it destroys a lot of individualism. Otherwise, people would step out and do things that they just feel that they need to do, or behave or do things in a manner that they would do it, but they fall in line because they don't want to be ostracized. And I think it can be a real danger. And at the same time, on the other side, a flip coin, it's also pretty funny. because it's tragic, and I have no other idea. I have no other way to react to something like that than just laugh.
Right, yeah.
You
That's
have to
true.
laugh
Yep.
because if you don't, you'll just go crazy.
Oh yeah.
So when you see
Absolutely.
somebody there, walking with a starter jacket, or some flannel jeans or flannel jeans. You got flannel jeans.
Whoa.
That's the new
Maybe
one.
that might be the
Something.
new fad.
That's
That's
the
the
new
new
fad.
fad, yeah.
I swear to Christ, if people start wearing flannel jeans, I guess
You
I'll
heard
have to
here
start it.
first, folks.
I don't even fucking wear those, so yeah. Yeah. And with that, I hope you enjoyed our conversation and will join us again for another installment of History with Hersefat. Don't forget to hydrate, exercise, and to like and subscribe to the podcast. All these things are essential for your health and well-being. Take care of yourselves and each other.